After nearly a decade of trying, last year I finally decided to give YouTube a proper go. Pretty quickly, I began to have some successful videos, I started making money, and I became more confident in what I was making. And then I disappeared for 4 months. So today I would like to talk about how I started growing on YouTube, what it's like to go viral, why I burnt out and stopped posting, and what I'm plotting to do next. Let me give you some backstory first. I've been making and uploading videos to YouTube since 2009. So I guess you could say I'm one of the OGs. Ever since then, I've loved the process of making videos and eventually unlocked my innate Gen Z nature of wanting to become a YouTuber. It didn't matter what kind of videos or what niche I was in, I just wanted to be a part of that culture. And I tried it with various videos and different channels over the years. Even this channel, Fareweld, although it wasn't always called that, has videos from 2016 on it. They're obviously private, so don't bother looking for them, but I uploaded a total of 22 videos here before January 2025. Throughout those many attempts at growing this channel, I had gained a total of 585 subscribers. Not bad, but clearly not enough to quit my day job and become the next Mr. Beast or something. Fortunately though, this did mean that when I decided to give this channel another shot, I wasn't just like talking into a completely empty void. Which leads me on to the first video I published here since completely nuking the contents of this channel, a video about how to leave no trace when hiking. Now I want to preface this by saying that I didn't just start with a huge following elsewhere, but I had a couple of TikToks hit 30,000 or 50,000 views, which kind of spurred me on to start this little journey. And I had seen the rise of YouTubers like Madison Clydesdale and the Outdoor Boys, which made me think that this hiking that I've been doing a lot of could be the focus of this channel. I'd also started to notice videos on my recommended feed that had barely any views at all, like literally 100 or less, and they had really low subscriber counts as well, which made me think that something must have changed in the algorithm to make it a good time to be a small YouTuber. So I jumped at the task of writing and filming the video, and it was such a spontaneous thing for me that I didn't even bother re-downloading Premiere Pro, which I'd used to edit all of my other videos. I literally just used CapCut on my old iPad. Wouldn't recommend for sanity reasons, but it did help me kind of jump on that idea, and I was able to get the editing done in one evening. So there is that. So when I got to the publishing stage of this first video, I think I shared it with Instagram and maybe TikTok. I also premiered the video, and I had an average of 4 concurrent viewers while it was premiering. So not the best start, but during that first 24 hours, I reached 78 views and I'd gained 2 subscribers. Thank you, whoever you are out there. That didn't dissuade me though, because after years of uploading random videos to YouTube, I am no stranger to having a video flop within the first few days. YouTube really is weird and can blow up a video at any time, so you know, I was just refreshing every now and then, seeing what the analytics were like. And I was pleasantly surprised a couple of days later when the video had another 245 views. Now don't get me wrong, this was nowhere near going viral, but in the whole of 2025 it did get up to 2,655 views, a respectable view count for a new channel, so I'm happy with that. So I started planning and writing the script for my next video, which was a what's in my winter hiking bag video. This one did a bit better in the first 24 hours at 133 views, and eventually throughout the whole of 2025 ramped up to 6,477. Definitely got me kind of snowballing into new video ideas and got me in planning mode big time. After that I made 5 more videos that were just kind of random. They were either hiking vlogs or on the more informational side, but none of them really popped off. One of them did later, but at this time none of them had gone anywhere unusual. Until I made a video called The Problem with Hiking Fashion and the Solution. For my small channel of less than 1,000 subscribers, this video was viral. It had kind of an unassuming start with only 172 views for the first 24 hours, but by the end of 25, this video had reached 225,122 views. That was insane. I was not expecting that at all. It was another video where I just kind of spur of the moment thought of it and started scripting it, and I had no clue it would blow up like it did. It was a lot of views for my tiny brain to comprehend. You can literally see on my kind of live subscriber count analytics the bump where that video came out, and it's just been growing ever since then. So I can really credit that video to being what kickstarted this channel for me. And I'd just like to say thanks to anyone who watched it, commented. That was really cool. The comments did really scare me, I'll be honest. Some of them were just rude, but I think that just is what happens when you reach a certain number of people. It did make me feel a little bit sick and anxious, but overall just very grateful at the kind of attention it gave my channel. And of course, the video was kind of about environmentalism and sustainability, that kind of thing. So it was really cool to have that amount of people listening to a subject like that. And of course, because that video got a lot of views and it was about 10 minutes long, I ended up gaining enough watch time from that video alone to get monetized. If you didn't know, you need 4,000 watch hours, I believe it is, to get monetized on YouTube, meaning they start paying you for ads that they show on your videos, and I hit that on that video. And I ended up getting my first AdSense paycheck in May 2025. What's that, 5 months after I started uploading videos? So that's kind of crazy. Very grateful for that. It wasn't enough to kind of do anything with apart from use that money to grow the channel more. So I invested it back into the channel. I got myself a MacBook that I paid monthly for, and I got myself Final Cut Pro. I'd been trying new things, but mainly just sticking to my niche and just learning new editing techniques, that kind of thing. One of my favorite video formats that I tried and was like actually kind of experimenting with was my video about trying thrifted hiking gear, which I really liked making, and it actually performed quite well. But I did find it a bit daunting to do because of that fear of messing up or making something that people thought was weird. It was pretty hard to experiment when I had this kind of new audience all of a sudden. Now granted, it's not a huge group of people like you see giant YouTubers having, but it was my little community that I built, and I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of them. So at this point I was getting a bit more stressed the more videos I was uploading to my channel. I felt like each one had to be a bit better than the last, and that is something I would still strive to do now, but I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I was just working harder and harder and harder while working my full-time job, which I'm still at and like doing. And eventually I kind of got a bit lost about what kind of videos I should make. This was the point where I started getting a little bit burnt out with making YouTube videos. By the end of the year, I had uploaded 26 long-form videos, and I had gained 14,000 subscribers, 673,000 views, crazy, 45,800 watch hours, and £2,000 in revenue. And that was the point that I stopped uploading. And I haven't uploaded since the 23rd of December 2025. Now, you might think the reason I burnt out is obvious. You know, I was working full time while spending hours and hours making these videos, planning, researching, scripting, filming, editing, and packaging for hours and hours and hours, all by myself. But I actually still really like the process. And while yes, it can be exhausting spending that much creative energy on a project, I found the end results to be really satisfying and worth it. It was more so to do with the fact that I wasn't sure about the channel direction anymore. And it's kind of been happening over time, but I took some time off for Christmas to hang out with my family, and I just kind of never started making my next video. And eventually I started thinking, why don't I want to make this next video? Normally I really like this process, especially all the planning side of things, but I just kept going back to the thought that I'm not excited to make videos about hiking right now. Now, I love hiking. I'll always love getting outside and being in nature. It's always been something that makes me feel better mentally and physically. But I think my excitement in making videos about hiking was always more about sharing knowledge and helping people try something new rather than the actual hobby itself. Obviously, I'm really passionate about environmentalism and teaching people how to get in touch with nature without being destructive with it, but I'd say the main drive of the videos was helping people try new things. Now, this is definitely 99% 100% self-imposed, because no one's ever told me you can only make hiking videos on this channel. In fact, quite the contrary. But once you label yourself as something online, or niche down if we're talking in YouTube terms, it can really feel like you're not meant to post anything else. If you watch any kind of YouTube advice, a lot of them will say that it's good to have a niche and stick to it, because then YouTube knows who wants to watch your kind of videos. And it's just easy to kind of link the two together. So after thinking that I couldn't really expand my videos, I just kind of lost that video making bug for a while. Instead of getting really excited about the long list of ideas I'd had, I felt a bit panicky and restricted, and I just didn't want to do any of it. So, you know, I was always thinking about it in the back of my mind, but I hadn't really been actively working on a video for a while. The truth is, I'm not a hiking YouTuber. If I had to summarize my personality in one kind of thing for you, it would be that I'm a jack of all trades, master of none kind of person. I used to think it was a flaw that I liked starting new hobbies every few weeks, but I think it's an exciting part of life to keep learning, and what a privilege that is to be able to learn new things all the time. Thank you, internet. So happy I'm alive at this time. I absolutely love trying new things and learning as much as I can about them. And I was starting to feel like I shouldn't have any other hobbies because I was neglecting my kind of main one on the side over there. But after a lot of thinking and some positive comments and support, I started thinking that maybe it wouldn't be too bad if I shared some other hobbies. I want to get people inspired and realize that they can try new things as an adult, and it's okay to be a lifelong beginner. That's the kind of thing that has always interested me, and I think that's the only thing that I can consistently make on YouTube without having that urge to quit and start a new channel about a completely different topic every few months or years. And of course, I'm not saying that I'm never gonna make a hiking video ever again. It's just that right now I'm not that excited by it, and I want to start making things that I'm really excited about. Like, for example, I've been learning how to play chess recently, and I never thought I'd be able to learn how to do that. I'd love to try wildlife photography, and I don't want to feel like I can't share that with you anymore. And actually, those are the videos that I like to watch as well. You know, the kind where someone starts something and they're completely clueless, and then by the end of the video, they have some knowledge and have learned some lessons. I find those really motivational, and I would love to make videos like that. This is quite scary for me because I'm really not sure how it's gonna go. Like I said, I could be locked in with the algorithm now. Who knows? I might be a hiking YouTuber only by YouTube standards, so fingers crossed I'm not. I would love to share different things with you, but we'll see how it goes. If you're a subscriber of this channel and you're here for hiking content, I completely understand. I will share hiking content again, I'm sure. It's always going to be a hobby that I really like, especially now that I can drive. But for the time being, I've been working on a couple of other things, and they have nothing to do with hiking. So if you'll bear with me, maybe you'll be interested in those as well. Here's to creating whatever I feel like. Hopefully I'll have something out for you soon. I've actually been in the trenches of editing a video recently, so now that I've broken the news to you all, I'm going to use that as motivation to finish that and get that out to you soon. So subscribe if you want to see the new direction of this channel. I'm very excited to start sharing things with you, and wish me luck. Anyway, hope you like what I make if you do stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. It's good to be back.